The 3 stages of losing in your streetball career and why they are so important. I'm Tony. Welcome back to Streetball Strategies.
I'm locked and loaded now, I'm popping up on your radar. The game ain't never fair, I just work hard and play hard. Minor setbacks just led to something more major. Can't stop me now, you can't stop me. Can't stop me.
So one of the main reasons I started this channel was because when I was a young player, when I first became obsessed with becoming the best basketball player I could be, I wanted to try to learn everything I possibly could about the game. Had there been someone who said to me, okay, you want to be the best basketball player you can possibly be. You want to take this seriously even though you're not really trying to get to the NBA, you just want to be the best basketball player you can possibly become. Well, here's what you need to do, here's what's going to happen, and here's why it's so important. Had I had someone, anyone, some kind of resource to be able to tell me those things, I would have found that to be invaluable. So today we're going to talk about the 3 main stages I believe you go through in your streetball career and what to expect and why they're important. Alright, so we're having big camera issues, and so we're reverting to the iPhone, but we press on. So the first stage of your streetball career, what happens is this is where you make the most progress in relatively the shortest amount of time. If for no other reason than the fact that last week you weren't playing basketball at all, and this week you are actively trying to learn how to play the game. And in all 3 stages of your career, I feel like there is a quintessential question that comes up in each stage that tests your basketball fortitude. And the question in this stage is, do you actually enjoy this? Are you actually passionate about it? Because in this stage, it would be easy and understandable to have the perspective that you are trying to get better, you do enjoy doing this, and you are making progress. However, regardless of that, you're still losing all the time. And because you're putting in all this effort and you're still losing all the time, it may feel like you're wasting your time. Which is why losing in this stage is so important, because, so to speak, it separates the men from the boys. It separates the players who really feel like they have a passion for this to see how good they can be on the basketball court against those who just want to be casual basketball players. So in the first stage of your career, because you're first starting out, because you have no skill, because you have no experience, and you're just at the very beginning of learning everything, you're gonna lose all the time. And that can be frustrating, and it can cause a lot of players to just become casual basketball players at best. But in the second stage of your streetball career, when you've decided that you are going to continue to pursue getting better at basketball, even though you're at the very beginning and because of that you're losing all the time, once you're in the second stage, this is my favorite stage of your career, because this is the most transcendent stage. Because at the very beginning of this stage, you're losing way more than you would ever win. But by the end of this stage, you're winning way more than you ever lose. And you're learning so much, you're progressing so much. And while you're not making the big leaps and bounds in the same kind of way you did in stage 1, in this stage, now you're making more consistent progress, because little by little you're piecing together your game. You're building your skills, your ability, your experience, and you're learning what it means to be a basketball player for what your game is eventually going to be. But the test in this stage is an endurance test. It's, can you make it through the entire grind that it's going to take to get to the point where you're winning way more than you're losing. The easy and understandable perspective you could have about that is that you just don't want to put in the time. You don't want to put in the effort. But what happens is, if you're able to stick it out and stay with this stage, the losing that happens is the most informative losing that you're going to experience throughout your entire career, which is going to lead to you being able to make that constant, consistent progression over this stage. Because every time you lose in this stage, it shows you exactly what you need to work on, what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are, what you need to improve upon, what your competition is doing better than you are doing. If you're able to accept the fact that you lost, understand how and why it happened, evaluate it with the perspective that you did things wrong or there's things that you need to work on, and internalize that correctly without having all of the frustration get in the way of that, then you're able to recognize what you need to work on, and as you work on it, as you get better at those things over time, consistently, you're making small little gains in getting better, and consistently those weaknesses, those check marks of the things you did wrong progressively get smaller and smaller. So every time you lose in this stage, it's giving you an opportunity to learn and to grow. It's just a matter of, can you endure that over a long period of time, and can you not get consumed by the frustration that it's going to take to get to the other side, where now you've improved yourself so much that you're winning way more than you're losing. And in stage 3 of your basketball career, your street ball career, if when I was in my first stage of my career when I was a kid, if someone would have said, hey, this is how the last and final stage of your career is going to go, I would have said it sounds too good to be true, or it sounds absurd. Because in this stage is where you put it all together, right? You've put in years and years, 10 plus years of work and dedication and trying to get better. All of the work that you've put in over the last 10 years, now everything in this stage starts to come together. All of the experience you've earned, all of the skill and ability you've earned, you put that all together and you figure out how to do everything basketball related optimally, including how you train and practice and study. Everything is efficient, everything is optimal for your game. You know who you are, you know what your game is, you know how you want your game to be played, and you figure that all out, and now you're able to do it all optimally. You've developed a system to work for you and your game. Part of that system is that every game that you compete in, every dribble of every game, you just play as hard as you possibly can and as smartly as you possibly can. And when you put that all together, what it all comes down to, what it boils down to is, in this stage, you become the ultimate and optimal basketball problem solver. Any basketball related problem that arises, you're able to recognize it, evaluate it, and resolve it rather automatically and easily. Now, specifically in competition, whatever problem a opponent may present to you, you're able to overcome it on a regular basis, meaning that you barely ever lose. You expect to win, and you usually do win. Now, surprisingly here, your perspective could be that because you win so often, because you're so used to being able to overcome any problem that's presented to you, winning can start to feel kind of repetitive, kind of boring, which is why losing in this stage is probably the most exciting losing that you're ever going to experience, because it presents you with challenges that you didn't have before. You're so used to overcoming and solving problems so automatically and so easily that when you do lose, now you're confronted with an issue that you have to solve right now. And that can be very exciting, because now at this point, your game and the way you practice and train and play and compete, all of that's become pretty routine. And when you come across a loss, when you're playing against the fiercest competition that you can find, right? Because keep in mind, the play and the wins in this stage don't come easily, right? You're playing against the hardest competition, the most fiercest competition you can find. You're playing absolutely as hard as you can, absolutely as smart as you can. And so because of that, and because of your problem-solving abilities, you usually win. But when you lose, now you are confronted with an issue that you are reinvigorated to solve and overcome. But the test of this stage of your career, right, is that you're coming towards the end. And the end of your career is going to come much sooner than later. Because in order to get to stage 3 of your career, it's going to take absolutely everything you have. All of the hard work you could possibly put in stage 3 you can't get there without playing as hard as you can. In order to play as hard as you can, it's going to take wear and tear on your joints, your ligaments, and your tendons, and that's just part of the game. So by the time you reach stage 3, it's exciting and exhilarating, but at some point, whether it be wear and tear on your body or the repetitiveness and possible boredom of winning all the time, you have to start contemplating about how and when you are going to not become and not be an active competitive player any longer. So thank you guys for watching. I'm sorry about the video turned out like this on the iPhone. I don't know what's going on with my camera. I will figure that out. But if you found this video helpful, if you think it's going to help you as a young player or a young player you know, please make sure you share this video with them. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel. When you hit that subscribe button, it's the best thing you can do to support this channel, and I really do appreciate it. Also, like, share, comment. Make sure you hit that notification button so that you're notified of when all of my videos go live. And until next time, I'll see you guys next week.
In order to lead, I had to learn how to follow. I had to swallow my pride today and not tomorrow. It's never picture perfect, trying to be the bigger person. I'm living and learning even if the bridges are burning. No cracking under pressure, I'm testing the waters now. I may have too much pride to keep my head down. The rest is his story if I don't write my own now. Destiny awaits me and I got somewhere to go now.